What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, got a fun one for you guys today. We're going to be building a console-sized gaming PC featuring the Dr.Zaber Sentry 2.0 PC. A nice, small, compact ITX build that definitely looks like a console, so it could be great to, put in your entertainment setup or even on your desktop to save some space overall because it is so small and thin. Now, all the hardware I'm going to be using, this isn't really intended to be a console killer per se because, consoles now are like $200-300, very, very affordable, so kind of hard to beat that. This was just, meant to be a fun build, use some parts I had lying around, pick some parts up that I thought would make sense for this. So I'll have it all listed for you down below in case you want to check those pieces of hardware out and all the components, but let's get into it. Alright, so for this build, I'll be using my i5-8400 CPU. It's one of the top rated price performance CPUs out there at just $199. It's got 6 cores and 6 threads at 2.8 GHz, which can be clocked to 4 GHz at the max turbo frequency. Again, all this for just $200. With that, I picked up the trusty Noctua NHL9i, mainly because it's Noctua, so it'll stay cool and very quiet, but also because of its low profile at just 37mm tall, so it's going to have no problems fitting in this case. We won't be seeing it either, so I'm not going to mind that color scheme going on, plus they included some thermal paste inside the box. They'll both be going on the MSI H310i Pro ITX motherboard. I mainly just got this because it was like $75. It has the M.2 compatibility for SSD, and as long as it's ITX, it'll work out here. Then for RAM, we have 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LED sticks. I had these lying around, and really you can go with even cheaper memory if you want. We're not even going to be able to see the LED lights on the heatsink either, but like I said, I had these, so I figured I'd put them to good use. Then the GPU of choice is the Gigabyte GTX 1070. And yeah, it's a few years old at this point, but it's still a 1070, so it's pretty powerful. But this thing is just tiny. It's their mini ITX OC card, one of the smallest cards on the market. So I figured it'd be a good fit, literally, for the Sentry build. And even though you can use most standard size cards in this case, actually, I'll show you that later on, this is still going to destroy current console graphics and performance. For our M.2 NVMe SSD, I'm going with the AdLink 1TB card. It is blazing fast, and it's one of the more affordable SSDs out there. Plus, we won't have to worry about then, adding any more internal storage in the case at the moment. Can't complain about 1TB for under $200. Then lastly, powering our build is the Corsair SF750W PSU. And this is important because the case is only compatible with SFX power supplies. And the reasoning for that, as you can see, is because it's just super tiny and it's modular, so you're not gonna have any unnecessary cables inside the case crowding it. And this one's the best bet, hands down. Plus the wattage is gonna give us that room to upgrade later on down the line if we wanna swap something like graphics cards. But yeah, SFX PSU here is very important. But now let's take a look at the star of the show from Dr.Zaber. We got the Sentry 2.0 case made straight in Poland. When they first sent me an email about this, it was originally because they saw my Steam Machine video from last year actually. And they mentioned that this was supposed to be like the real end goal, or the image if you will, for the Steam Machine. Valve even used earlier versions of their cases to show off the Steam Machine prototype in 2013, before pretty much scrapping what could have been a great thing. So I saw this, knew I wanted to check it out, and build my own Steam Machine, or my own console-sized PC. And I was not disappointed. The overall size is super tiny, great for a living room space, or like I said, a tiny desktop build. And inside the box, they even include a vertical stand and a nice T10 screwdriver in case you didn't have one already. You can definitely appreciate that. And yes, it's a new build, so I'll be doing a complete clean install. Using Windows 10 Pro, you can get it for under $12. I've showed off, your CD key in the past. If you go to yourcdkey.com and use code UKRANDOM, you can get Windows 12 Pro for $11.74. It's legit. I've been using this stuff for over 2 years now. It's how I activate all my PCs I've ever built, and I've never had an issue. And of course, like everything else, the site will be listed down below. But for now, I'll do a little build sequence, and I'll see you in a few minutes. So as you saw, I think this came out awesome. It was much easier to build than I was anticipating for it being an ITX case. I've used ITX cases in the past that were just a nightmare, and there was just so much more space here than I thought. Very well thought out. Overall, really happy with the performance we're gonna be getting for this very small compact form factor. Now, one thing I wanted to point out with this case, you saw when I used the Mini 1070, there was still a lot of room in the case. That's because it's compatible with full-length GPUs up to 305 millimeters long, which is just crazy. So you can use a lot of GPUs out there, but if you are going with a small GPU like me, then you can use that extra space for adding like an AIO. There you can mount the rad if it's a 120 millimeter. You can even put a fan, and they also include a bracket for installing like an SSD or a hard drive here in this space. Now, comparing the size to my Xbox One X, as you can see, it's about, what, a fifth wider maybe? It just blows my mind how slim and compact this really is. I just think for this, like, one of the best uses is gonna be in the living room. You can use this as a home theater PC or just as that console replacement here. There's even those two USB 3.0 ports in the front in case you wanna attach some peripherals to that or a wireless dongle, and kick back in the couch, enjoy some PC gaming without having to have a massive tower right by its side. What's also cool is that this can fit in a 17-inch laptop bag. So if you have a bigger laptop and you have like a backpack you can carry that around in, this will also fit inside the backpack. So I don't know, guys. I thought this was really cool. You don't see stuff like this too often where it is so small and sleek. And I definitely wanted to get a build going on. Like I said, the main goal for this wasn't to build a console killer, because for the console prices now, kind of hard to beat. But I just wanted to do a fun little build featuring the Sentry 2.0. I'm a huge fan, and I will have all the components listed for you in the description down below. Guys, that'll wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.